Ryan Poles was back on the Pat McAfee show on May 1st to talk about his experience in this past year's 2024 NFL draft for the Chicago Bears and everything that led up to it and all the news that we wanted to know in regards to the number 1 pick, the number 9 pick, why he chose who he chose, and more. He even gave full detail on why the Chicago Bears took in Tory Taylor in the 4th round, which was pretty darn exciting. And unfortunately, best of luck to him. It is official that Gill has been let go as a Chicago Bears punter. So there's a little bit of news for you guys as well. But overall, it's really good to hear exactly what went down from Ryan Poles' perspective for the Chicago Bears in this legendary draft. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Dick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Poles is an absolute cook and arguably the greatest GM in recent memory for the Chicago Bears, and I can see why. And if you're grateful that Ryan Poles is our general manager of the Chicago Bears and still fully trust him, make sure to hit the like button on this video to show your support, to see how many viewers truly support Ryan Poles, along with commenting FGB, because guess what? We're taking the North and never giving it back. Also, comment your favorite move that Ryan Poles has ever done. Mine, personally, trading the number 1 pick last year, because look how it set us up for the future. So now let's get into some of the stories that he told on the Pat McAfee show. So like I said, Ryan Poles was on the Pat McAfee show the second time around, which the first time I guess Ryan Poles got in a little bit of trouble with the Chicago Bears, specifically Kevin Warren, and Poles and McAfee ended up making a couple jokes about it. But overall, McAfee and his crew asked Ryan Poles the tough questions about what exactly happened during this entire draft process. He asked about the number 1 pick. He asked about his thoughts on Caleb Williams. Clearly, that worked out very well. What happened with number 9 and why it was Rome Odunze and how grateful they were for it, along with Tory Taylor and another few comments. So obviously, starting off with Caleb Williams. Williams' heart had Poles from the beginning. Williams had Ryan Poles' heart from the beginning, according to him, quote saying, "The more time that I spent with him, the more I realized I wanted him to be a part of the Chicago Bears," unquote. Great to hear that your GM is clearly invested in your number 1 overall pick, especially the future franchise quarterback, so that's always a plus for sure. Then McAfee went out and asked Ryan Poles about how does he block out the hate of Caleb Williams by other analysts, does it change his decision on anything like that? And Poles came with a straight answer, no hesitation. He said, quote, you need to see the person eye to eye in regards to taking someone like that, not anyone else's thoughts. And that's what we did. We sat down, we had dinner with him, we talked to him, we introduced him to the guys that we have built this team around, and also wanting him to get to know this team as a whole. And once all the boxes were checked, I wasn't even listening to anybody else. And then McAfee asked, he's like, hey, did you ever let Caleb know that you were taking him with the number 1 pick? And Poles flat out just said, nope, I wanted to keep him on his toes. Didn't want to, give him too much confidence or anything. But Caleb knew for a very long time, according to Poles. He was talking about it. Poles just kind of shook his head every time it was brought up. But good to hear that they were having all good fun. And then when asked about trading back that number 1 pick to get an absolute King's ransom haul, Poles came out and said, quote, it would have had to take a lot, way more than last year, even if it was moving back 1 spot. But it didn't take me a long time to ignore calls. I knew what the move was after talking to Caleb, and I'm very confident with my decision, unquote. So it's good to hear that he was getting trade offers, but he slammed the phone shut right after, it seems like. I mean, he clearly had a big man crush on Caleb Williams, which is awesome. I'm happy to see our GM is confident with it, but good to hear overall. And not only that, he said that, Pat McAfee asked, like, hey, how do you feel about this offense with Caleb Williams? Ryan Poles said we made the confident decision of bringing in Shane Waldron to put Caleb Williams in the best position possible to succeed. Not only that, we went out and brought in targets for him all across the board, and we believe that Caleb is going to do great things for this offense, unquote. So I'm super excited about it. I really feel confident that Ryan Poles, coming out, he's just so calm, cool, and collective, and he's always working and trying to make things better for this team. But it sounds like he had a really good experience, and he's happy he's keeping Caleb Williams. Now let's quickly go into Rome Odunze, where it was a little bit different because the Bears got a ton of calls, according to Poles, about the number 9 pick. And Poles just came out and said, hey, listen, Rome Odunze was at the top of our list. I wasn't moving on from him. I really liked what he brought to the table. We have a color coordination chart in the war room in regards to how we rank guys. And Rome was one of those guys, very few guys, that if he was available at one of our picks, we had to take him. it ended up working out really well. And he even said, he's like, I know that they have a culture between, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, and they definitely can go out and make the opportunity. They're good friends, and they're going to be a successful duo for a very, very long time in the NFL. Then he went into a little about Tory Taylor. Obviously, Pat McAfee was a punter, super excited about. Pat McAfee actually said himself that, man, this guy can punt it a mile. You guys got an absolute steal, 3 blue chip players. And Poles said, literally, I know, he single-handedly won games for Iowa last year. He actually was in the Heisman conversation as a punter with how impactful he was in games. And Poles, reason why he took him at 122 is a lot of people were like, oh, why are you taking a punter? Is Poles knew that this guy was a once in an every 5-year punter that you can take. Not only that, if he would have missed him at 122, there's no way he would have gotten him much farther after that. He knew that teams were eyeing him, wanted him. There's other teams in the NFL that need punters. So overall, he took him. And another big reason why is because he makes teams uncomfortable with how he's able to spot the ball so well. So Ryan Poles overall super excited about that. And then just another couple comments, overall, McAfee asked about Eberflus's culture and what makes it so special. And Poles came out and said, listen, we're a fast, attacking, aggressive team. We got to be tough. That's what we look for in our players. That's how, we ended up going through our draft. All of our guys pass all the boxes on that in regards to how we're building. I mean, look how we did it the second half of the season. Did really well. So it's good to hear that Poles is sticking to his guns and knows what he's doing. I mean, again, didn't trade that number 1 overall pick, even though people were listening. Blocked out the haters in regards to the hype around Caleb Williams if they didn't like him or not. Took his guy at Rome Odunze, knew exactly what he wanted. Just Pat McAfee was asking these great questions to Ryan Poles in order to find out exactly what was going through his head. And overall, just a very, very good conversation overall. I enjoyed the show a lot. I think that it was awesome to see, Ryan Poles willing to take interviews. Hopefully we get him on the show one day. But overall, I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. And thank you as always for tuning this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. Please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps grow the channel. Also hit that like button. It helps more Bears fans see it. And comment FGB if you don't like the Green Bay Packers. But with that, thank you as always for tuning this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. And as always, bear down, baby.